I am setting up a little art gallery in my studio area, and I've been putting up my paintings that I have. I'll talk more about these. This was a massive project for me to make 100 metal paintings, and each one not only had to be different on one side, gotta get it, but they had to be a completely unique work of art on the other side. And I welded on numbers for each of them because I had this idea to make these ticket-shaped paintings and go from 1 to 100, and I just followed that idea. Each of them has a little sphere. That's kind of the common theme throughout all of them. I welded on a sphere in different spots. Some of them are different sizes, and they have a different interaction with the little figures that are on them. Each one has a figure, at least one figure. There's 2 figures here, little fetus figure. This one has just one figure. Most of the time they're kind of interacting with each other. They're doing different things because, to me, art is just a word for the thing that connects us to God. I don't know what else to say about it. I keep on trying to figure out, how do I explain myself to people? How do I explain my actions? How do I explain my art? Because I feel like words are meaningless sometimes. I have some people in my life who hate my art, and that sucks. It's a weird thing. There's a lot of emotionality with the work that I do because I've put everything into it my whole life. I am a full-time professional artist. What does that mean? It means that I do not know anything else except just creating. I'm not cultured in how to make money as an artist. I'm working on it. I'm developing my business skills and I'm pushing myself to new levels. But I have to do something. I have to make the work. That is important to me. This is crazy, isn't it? Have you ever seen anything like this? I never have. And honestly, I don't know where any of this came from, except it was in my mind, and not even in my mind. It's not like I was thinking this. It's just I got a 4-foot by 4-foot piece of plywood, and I just started literally throwing paint on it. This is the first part, the center. It was just blue, and I just grabbed paint with my hand and just, and then, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to throw this paint, red and green, on here, and then I'm going to just start outlining things. And it's chaotic. It's really chaotic. So the things I'm creating are just by intuition, by what comes into my brain and just leaves immediately. The idea comes and I'm not like focusing a whole lot on it except to just express. So expression through art is really a spiritual process. It's a direct connection to whatever God is or who God is. It's just going with it, going with the flow. And there's some things that I do and I have patterns for. You know, I've done this type of robotic figure quite a few times now. This one is different. He's this guy that's holding, he's a little shelf guy, and each side of him on this thing has a little painting, a little landscape painting. I think it's cool. Let me show you more. This one's really kind of interesting to me. So I want you to get a better glimpse of it. I really love the rock canyons of southern Utah, northern Arizona. I grew up in Arizona. It's a very important place to me. I left there when our family moved to Washington State when I was 7, but we've always had family there. And it's one of my favorite places in the world. But I haven't spent a whole lot of time in the canyon areas until just about 2 years ago. Our family went on a big kayaking or canoeing trip down the Green River. And that was so beautiful. It was crazy. We camped on sandbars among these canyon walls. And the wild thing to me was, when I was 14, I had this dream. And this was like a vision to me. Like, I had this very clear dream that had all these things going on. And in the dream, I was looking down into this giant canyon area with water in it, and there was a lot of stuff going on with just tons and tons of people. And I don't know what else to say about the dream. There's a lot that I wanted to say about it, but it's a pretty personal thing. It got really impactful for me. I felt like there was meaning to it, and I tried to understand what that meaning was for years. And then one day, as a Mormon missionary, I was sitting in my little study area thinking about this dream, like, what was that about? You know, me in this canyon looking down, there's thousands of people, and then there's these people who start just rushing at each other from opposite sides like they're going to do battle. But anyways, that dream became, I received inspiration for what it meant, the interpretation of the dream, which to me was like, whoa, this is crazy. This is like biblical stuff where a person receives a vision or an understanding of their interpretation. I believe in that stuff because I've experienced it. And I think it's something that's not uncommon. I think that there's something within all of us that God is speaking to. It's just that people take it religiously and like elevate it to a level that we're all like, whoa, that is mystical and only a few people get that. I don't know that that's true because I experience these things. That's the art that I make is an expression, a manifestation of the divinity that is downloading into my brain. And your brain. It's all of us. But the canyons, when I was going through that experience, it didn't look exactly the same, but there were some spots where we made these bends, and it was like this bowl-shaped canyon wall area, and I'm like, whoa, everything just comes around. We are experiencing things that the dots start to connect in very, very interesting ways. So I've got more artwork that I'm going to be putting up here, but I had to get things up because I have never done this before. I've never displayed my art personally in my own studio space. So I felt like it was very important for me to create my own little gallery here in my little studio apartment that I have. Because my life is completely changing. This past life, especially the past 4 years since COVID, man, has it been a wild ride and a spiritual journey. I am still recovering from COVID, and not the disease, the experience of my whole life falling apart, deconstructing my whole existence, because my wife and my children and I stopped being active participating members of the Mormon Church, which was a big, big deal for us and for our extended family. It rocked the boat big time. It has completely altered my life. But at the same time, I felt like I dropped everything, and yet I experienced more spirituality than ever before. It has impacted me in so many amazing ways because, once again, I started to put the dots together. And so this series that I created is our place in the universe. This is the theme of my life and the theme of my work, understanding who we are, understanding why we do what we do. What does it mean to be a human? What does it mean to make mistakes? What does it mean to live? What is death? What is the spirit? This is all spirit. This is all spirit. This is you, and this is your mom, and this is the little world that one of you inhabits, but you're kind of taking a little trip to be with each other, to experience life. Same thing here. Hey, Dad. Wow, you died. And I'm here on my own little experience, and you're coming down to visit me. I don't know. That's just a little interpretation, because the relationships we have are so damn important. And the relationships we have with ourselves and with the universe. I mean, there's no other figures on this guy. Or with this guy, he's not interacting, but he's reaching. Man, reaching is a big part of my work too. I make a lot of figure sculptures with people reaching up. And I didn't quite understand why, except to say that there's something that wants us to progress. We want to understand. We oftentimes, in this modern age, are distracted by flashing screens and lights and distractions. But there's something to be learned, something to be gleaned from being here. Something that we're experiencing, that we can experience, that is beyond what we're currently experiencing. See, little guy reaching. There's Nathan. There's his massive big soul. The thing that makes us who we are could be infinitesimal, very small, or it could be very massive. I mean, what if this planet is a conscious being and we are just one little cell within that? My thought about God now, I had a very hard time, even as a very devout and pious and devoted member of the LDS Church, I had a very difficult time understanding God, because it was just so beyond me. And Jesus too. Like, I went on a mission to Northern California and just talked to people about Joseph Smith and Jesus and God, and had no real clue what I was talking about. I had some spiritual convictions that were very important to me, but they were kind of disjointed. And so I was following a program that was laid out for me, but it wasn't the program that I fully understood and that I had a full comprehension of. There's this one. Family, brothers and sisters. Maybe. Nebulous spacescape. This one's cool too. All these people. I've got 5 boys, so 5 is a number for me that I include a lot. Like, they're just exploring. They're just playing. Woo! They're good guys. They drive me crazy. It's so weird to be a dad, because I feel like I'm a kid. I'm 39 almost. And I'm like, my body's getting older. I don't think I've matured though. Where was I going? Oh shoot. Okay. The mission. Yeah. Spirituality. Like, I had these experiences that were spiritual to me, but it was this feeling. It was this feeling that I came to recognize. Somebody's walking upstairs. I recognized as the Holy Ghost without understanding what the Holy Ghost was. So I lived my life because I had these spiritual feelings, and it was interpreted for me by the religion. Oh, you felt this way. That is the Holy Ghost confirming that Joseph Smith is a prophet of God, that God spoke to Joseph, and that God revealed that he was a human man being with a physical body, and so is Jesus. And they appeared to him. And Jesus is perfect. And so I had these ideas of what God and Jesus looked like because of art, because of video representations and the curriculum that we had, the different videos about the first vision of Joseph and Jesus videos. So it's like a man with a beard and long hair. Whoa, that's Jesus. Like, that's an actor. A painting with a man and two men with a white beard. That's God and Jesus. So I had this idea in my mind. That's who they are. But I couldn't relate to it because I was kneeling down, praying on my knees, trying to envision where God even was. Where is God? God's in heaven. What's heaven? Space, near Kolob. I don't understand, but sure, I'll go with it. Who is Jesus? The most perfect person to ever live. I can't relate with that. I make mistakes on the daily, every day. You know, I have, my mind goes in all these directions, and so I feel like I'm this sinful person and Jesus is perfect. I don't know how to relate to that. So deconstructing my religious faith blew my mind because I started to see things differently, and I started to actually be able to relate for the first time with God and recognize, oh, it's not this outside thing, it's here. It's all within me. Every spiritual experience I had was within my body. And people may have out-of-body experiences, but I have not. So I have to recognize that for me and for most people, this is the deal. We are experiencing feelings and emotions and connections in our minds that we take for granted, but they are magnificent. They are important. They are impactful. They are divine. It really is. That's my thing now. Every day, I am not just searching for meaning, but I'm finding meaning. And the chaos of my mind, sometimes, this is kind of a representation of that, but it's a beautiful chaos. It can feel overwhelming, and yet, I got these little beads. These are my little gratitude beads. And this kind of helps to center me now. I got these in Sedona, Arizona about a year ago, and I highly recommend you get some. There's 108 of these things. 108. And I wear them every day because I forget sometimes to be grateful. And so I have a meditative practice where I express gratitude 108 times at least. I try every day to just be like, thank you for my bed. Thank you for the warmth of this home. Thank you for Benny and Ephraim and Asher and Levi and Peter, my sweet boys. Thank you for Nina, who is now becoming my ex-wife. What? Yes, that sucked. She was my partner, the girl that I loved for my whole life since I was 16. So when I first fell in love with her, we got married like immediately after I came home from my mission, a month and a half after I came home from my Mormon mission. And we've had these boys, and she went on this journey with me to be an artist. I didn't know who I was when we got married. I've been on a journey of figuring it out. But she came to a point where she's like, this isn't what I chose. And she got to choose for herself now because we left our religious upbringing. So it gave her an opportunity to recognize she didn't like the life she was living with me. And so she made the very brave, I recognize it's a brave one, except it sucked. It's brave of her, though, to choose her own path. And I want to be supportive of that, but we just can't be together because she freaking hates my art. And I love her. And I'm not trying to get down on her or anything. But it's hard because there's so much attached to it. And I just want to make stuff. Like I said, I don't see myself as an adult. You know, like, yes, I'm an adult. I recognize I have responsibilities and all these things, but I'm somebody's kid. And that kid is still in me. And it's a part of who I am. And I just want to make cool stuff. I want to make beautiful things. I want to have meaning in the work that I do. It is, I found my purpose and I can't stop. And I've wished and hoped and just, I've tried to no, I'm like an addict. I'm like a freaking art addict. Oh, come on, baby, just give me another chance. I'll stop, I promise I can do it. No, I'm sorry, I can't. This is just who I am. I can't stop. I don't want to stop. To stop would be death to me because this is my soul. Boom, exploding out, trying to say something. And I tapped into that and it won't go away. I dream about it. I obsess about it. I'm trying to make a career out of it, but I just want to make stuff. It's a spiritual experience to be alive. It's all a spiritual experience. So that's the thing I just wanted to share with you. I don't want to be full of crap. I don't want to put on a face that's not mine. I don't want to mask myself. I want to be real, damn it. I want to be a real person. And I want to connect in a real way with you. So the likelihood of how many people will see this and interact with me, I just don't know. I've said a lot of things. I don't know how it comes off. I want to have an impact for good in the world around me. And so I feel like it's a gift to be able to share a video with you in a way that never existed before. Very recently, we've had this technology, a smartphone. I don't know about you, but when I was in high school, they did not exist yet. It was brand new technology. I did have a friend who had a BlackBerry, but that was different. That wasn't what we got here. And yeah, I guess that there was probably like cameras that you could put onto your computer, but not like what we got here. Things have evolved, especially in the past 150 years with video technology and radio technology. Man, cell phones, supercomputers in our pockets, little kids even having them, that's like kind of sick to me. We don't know enough about this technology to give them to babies. And we don't understand, we have not fully grasped how this impacts our brains, because I left my religion because of this kind of interaction. I started seeing people post videos of like George Floyd being killed. And that blew my mind, and that led me down a whole rabbit hole of like racism in America and equal rights and all this stuff that really got me to challenge my religion, my political beliefs, my personal identity, my racism, my sexism. Like, oh my gosh, what an overwhelm. You just feel like throwing up. Your brain, like, how do you get rid of all this intensity? Well, you express it through throwing paint on stuff to just like, my brain is overwhelmed by all this stuff. But these interactions are changing the way that we see each other and changing the way that we understand life. So thank you for being with me on this journey to understand creation and to understand art. It is an important journey, and I love you. I don't know you, probably, and you may not know me, except from this interaction on a screen, but I feel like I have developed an appreciation for just everybody. And I struggle with people. I have to do my work alone a lot of times. It's not a good fit for all of us. Some people, it's just not it's a vibe thing, you know? You're on a different frequency, different radio station. And I've had people who come in and it's like, man, it's so great to be with you. We're working together. You're helping me build, we're doing stuff, and then they're like, you're a freaking jerk, and I hate you, and I'm never gonna talk to you again. Whoa! Like, all I was doing was trying to give you an opportunity and get together, and that took a huge swing. You're going through your own thing, but that was intense, and it's happened a couple-ish times where people do that, and I'm like, okay, it's just a vibe thing. We were vibing for a while, and something I said or something in the experience or something they're going through shifted, and I'm going this direction, they're going that direction. So blessings to you, my friend. We just can't be together, and that's okay, but I really don't think we need to hate each other either. We just don't have to be with each other. So I love people, and I love you, and I want blessings in your life. And blessings are all around us. It's the things that make us who we are and what we have. The people that bless us through their service every single day to give us the things that we need to survive and to live and to thrive. So have a great week. Have a great day. Tomorrow doesn't exist. Today does. I just heard a quote, the best time to do it was yesterday. The next best time is today. So if there's something you want to change in your life, you and me, let's do it. I'm doing it today. It's Sunday. I've got work to do. You've got work to do. It's going to be a great week. I'm going to show you some really cool stuff as we go along. Thank you. Love you.